Hello, this is how to install OpenBSD 7.8 with KDE Plasma and the TigerVNC VNC server. This is the official webpage, openbsd.org. This is the release, OpenBSD 7.8. Let's download the ISO and install in a QEMU virtual machine. So this page says that we should go to the list of mirror machines, the FTP page. So these are the mirrors, some are CDNs, and then there's also the Canada, Alberta, FTP, openbsd.org. And I have selected this one and says in there, navigate to the directory pub OpenBSD 7.8. Pub OpenBSD 7.8. Next up, architecture, AMD 64. And then we want the install ISO, which is the largest file in here, this guy, install78.iso. There's also the install.amd text file with additional installation pertinent to the CPU architecture AMD 64. Says that install78.iso will also contain sets and including X server. I have also tried cdn.openbsd.org, another mirror, and I can see that the speed is way superior in cdn.openbsd.org compared to the ftp.openbsd.org. So there's a reason why the preferred mirror and the one that's the first in the list of mirrors is Fastly CDN. So do use that if you are after better download speeds. The host operating system is Kubuntu 25.10, which is a Linux operating system running KDE Plasma. Let's start the virtualization software, Virtual Machine Manager, Virt Manager. From the main menu, File, New Virtual Machine, ISO, Browse, Install 78.iso, choose, select a virtual machine template, 10 gigabytes of random access memory, 8 vCPUs, 200 gigabytes NVMe storage, and this is OpenBSD. Customize, finish. Okay, so BIOS, the newest motherboard. I'm not sure if the operating system supports VirtIO. I sure hope that it does. And for network interface card, I don't know if it supports VirtIO, but I'm going to try. Because VirtIO is faster than E1000 for network interface cards, and VirtIO is faster than SATA for virtual hard disks. So I just try with VirtIO both. If that fails, I'm going to delete the virtual machine, restart from scratch, and then for storage instead of VirtIO, I'm going to select the next best thing, which is SATA, and for network interface card, I'm going to select E1000. VirtIO devices are maybe 10 years old, so hopefully the operating system OpenBSD and all operating systems that do have continuous development do support these technologies. Welcome to the OpenBSD installation program, uppercase I. Choose your keyboard layout. I'm going to keep the default. Hopefully it's English US. System host name. OpenBSD. Network interface card, VIO, VirtIO. So probably the network interface card. Support for VirtIO exists in OpenBSD. IPv4 autoconf. IPv6 none. Network interface to configure, nothing else. Password for root account. Password for root account. Start OpenSSH, the SSH server, yes. Do you expect to run the X Windows system? Yes. Do you want the X Windows system to be started by the desktop manager? Yes. Change the default console to COM, which is the serial port? No. Set up a user? Yes. Administrator. Full name. Password. Password. Allow root SSH login? No. What time zone are you in? I don't know. America. New York. Available disks? Yes. Encrypt the disk? No. Whole disk MBR or whole disk GPT? Let's try with GPT. An EFI GPT disk may not boot. Proceed? No. Use whole, which is MBR. Let's try GPT and proceed. Auto layout, edit, create custom, A is auto. So it creates a ton of, I don't know what these things are, partitions. Usually the default way OpenBSD has partitioned the disk worked okay for me. So I'm going to just keep the defaults auto A and press enter. Let's install the sets, CD0 or HTTP. I've already downloaded them on the ISO. So probably CD0. Path name to the sets. The name of the sets to install. So there's 3 kernels, there's base, compilers, man pages, games, the X server, sounds okay, done. Directory does not contain signatures, continue without verification, yes. Okay, so the sets are being installed. This will form the base operating system plus the X server and some X clients. And the sets that were available on the ISO file have been installed. Done. You will not be able to boot OpenBSD from SD0. So I was warned that I should not use GPT partitioning table, but MBR, and says that the installation will not be okay. I'm going to recreate the virtual machine and just choose MBR instead of GPT. So I have deleted the virtual machine, recreated, and installed everything following the exact same steps. But I'm using MBR partitioning table, not GUID partitioning table. Okay, and now it asks if I want to reboot, which is yes. Let's see that the ISO has disappeared from the CD-ROM drive, and it did. The computer is booting from the virtual disk. It's generating OpenSSH cryptography. And I have selected that the operating system OpenBSD should boot in graphical mode with the desktop manager showing. So this is XenoDM, the desktop manager. From now on, I'm going to use my notes. This is my wiki page and mariusp.github.io. How to install other operating systems. Go back down to OpenBSD. I'm not going to use the virtualization software's graphical console. Instead, I'm going to connect to the virtual machine using SSH protocol. Let's find out the network interface card's IPv4 address ends with 130. So SSH username and IPv4 address. Yes. The password is okay. So let's see my notes. I'm using OpenBSD 7.8, the newest release. I have used install78.iso. I have created a user named administrator. This is a non-default option. By default, it doesn't create another local OpenBSD user account. I'm connected via SSH. I can become the super user. Asks for the password of the user root, which we set. We want something either doas or sudo to be able to switch from the user administrator to the user root without specifying the password of the user root. So doas comes pre-installed. The configuration file is missing. Let's create the configuration file. And now users which are part of the wheel user group can use doas. So let's see if that's the case. Asks the password of the user administrator, and now I'm the user root. So we're at this part. I'm going to install some binary packages for text user interface applications. There's a file manager, Midnight Commander. There's a text editor, Emacs without graphical user interface parts. And I also have bash as the shell. Okay, so we have installed bash, git, midnight commander, and emacs. Let's now with the user root. Let's change the shell of the user root. Exit and change the shell of the user administrator. And let's reconnect via SSH and see if bash is the shell of the user administrator. And it is. We're at this line. So KDE Plasma is available in OpenBSD, KDE Plasma version 6. And details about the meta package KDE-Plasma is available, for instance, here. So messages from the desktop meta package KDE-Plasma. We're interested in how to start KDE Plasma from ~/xinitrc or ~/x session. We're not going to use xenodm. We're using something similar with startx because we're actually going to connect to the graphical user interface Plasma 6 session using the VNC protocol. So we need this part. Okay. So let's become super user to install the meta package for KDE Plasma version 6. So this is KDE Plasma version 6.4.5. It's going to install hundreds of binary packages from the OpenBSD ports. OpenBSD, as other BSD free operating systems, are split in two parts. There's base or SRC. That's the thing that we have installed from the ISO without touching the internet. So the sets that existed on the ISO, including the X server and xenodm, the desktop manager. And then the other part are the ports, which is software that you probably know and use on Linux operating systems, for instance, such as the ones that we have installed: bash, git, midnight commander, emacs, KDE Plasma with the many KDE software packages, KDE frameworks, Qt libraries, and all of the dependencies, the binary packages that sit below all of these, like the image libraries such as TIFF, the fonts libraries such as Harfbars and Pango, the 2D rendering libraries such as Cairo, the compression libraries such as LZO. Icon themes, other types of themes, GTK, dbus, the system bus for inter-process communication, printing, internationalization, more Qt 6 libraries, etc. I'm not sure why it's installing Papyrus icon theme. So we have finished installing KDE-Plasma. Next up, we want to install the VNC server TigerVNC. I was already the user root, and when I used do as, it also asked for a password. That was interesting. Okay. I should not be the user root when I run VNC password. Asks for a password that is 6 characters long, at least. Would you like to enter a view-only password? No. And now we can start the VNC server. It's going to use the default X11 session, which uses a simple window manager. You will require a password to access your desktops. Okay. We have notes about this file tilde/.vnc/x startup. Okay. So we're running VNC server in the foreground, hopefully. Let's connect to this and make sure that we see what we want, which is OpenBSD, the virtual machine, with the simple window manager that's part of the base sets for X. Says that it runs on the VNC session 1. And the IPv4 address ends in 130. Long password. And this is what we actually wanted. We have the FVWM. Let's see how this session dies when we kill the X server. With Ctrl C because it was foregrounded. Okay. Next up, we want to edit this configuration file tilde/.vnc/x startup, such that when we connect using the VNC client, we don't get by default the FVWM X11 session, but we get a KDE Plasma 6 session. So we do what it says in here. We keep the old configuration file just in case. And then we edit the configuration file. So let's see how it used to look like. And how it should look like. Let's actually use melt. Don't have melt. So this is how it used to look like in previous versions of OpenBSD, but now the message from the meta package KDE-Plasma says that if we want to start KDE Plasma from one of the configuration files in my home directory, I should instead use a command, content like this. So I'm going to guess that local base is /usr/local. Okay, so export xdg runtime dir tmp/run idu used to exist before. xdg runtime dir make dir qt force xdg current desktop start plasma x11, and now we start a dbus session and a ck, which is I don't know, console kit. So we're not really keeping the logs, which we actually probably want, but let's hope everything works without the log file. So I'm just copying the text in here in the messages for KDE Plasma package, but I'm not using the environment variable local base. Instead, I'm using the full path /usr/local. Put all of these into the configuration file. I have added a trailing new line. Where is it? So let's save, Ctrl XS, Ctrl XC, and the file should also be executable, although it doesn't have a shebang at the start of the file. Okay, and here goes the try. Will KDE Plasma start correctly? Okay, hopefully KDE Plasma has started already. And this is what we were after. We wanted to install the newest release of OpenBSD in a virtual machine in QEMU VM Virt Manager, which we did. We're using the best technologies possible, which is network interface card VirtIO and hard disk VirtIO. And we could install KDE Plasma 6, and we could install the VNC server TigerVNC. We're connecting to the KDE Plasma X11 session using the VNC protocol, using the TigerVNC VNC client application. Let's see if resizing the TigerVNC VNC client application also changes the resolution in KDE Plasma. And it does. This is a very strange resolution and aspect ratio. And that is documented here. So it says that if we resize the VNC client window, like make it use a quarter of the screen, that it will tell the KDE Plasma to change its resolution, and it did, which is very important because like this we can use a web browser on the host computer and have the virtual machine show at the same time with a web browser. So for instance, you can have the web browser take the right half of the screen on the host computer and have the OpenBSD virtual machine graphical user interface session take the left half of the screen. We already had this feature available for the text user interface connection using SSH. So Firefox right half of the screen, the SSH connection left half of the screen. But we can also have it for the graphical user interface connection. In this case, the TigerVNC VNC client window on the left half of the screen. Okay. And it says that there's an icon for Plasma Discover, which is the KDE App Store in the main panel, in the icons only task manager. So we should remove this icon from there, which we did. Then it says that if KDE Plasma does lock the screen, it might be possible that you cannot unlock the screen. So it's a virtual machine. It's not a problem if you just disable locking. So in the system settings, the settings application in KDE Plasma, we search for lock and screen locking, and says lock screen automatically never. Apply. Okay, the power management settings don't do anything interesting. And this is it. Next up, after all of this works correctly, would be to shut down the virtual machine. Let's see, we cannot do it from the graphical user interface session. Let's shut down the virtual machine. Because we managed to install everything as we expected, a good practice here would be to stop the virtual machine and create an initial snapshot. Virtual machine is not running. In the main taskbar of the virtualization software, manage VM snapshots. Bottom left, create new snapshot button. Initial after installation. And I always make the snapshots internal such that the snapshot is inside the QCOW2 file. And that's it. We have a snapshot in case we manage to do something really bad to the virtual machine. We can always go back to the place where KDE Plasma is installed, the TigerVNC VNC server is running or is configured correctly, etc. At this point, we can see that we could have selected the default option in the OpenBSD installer, which suggests that XenoDM is not started by default. So you could leave that default. The computer will start in text user interface mode, OpenBSD, not in XenoDM, because we didn't use XenoDM not even once. Okay, so let's redo everything that we did. Connect via SSH. We already have the correct configuration file in tilde/.vnc/x startup. We can just start the VNC server in foreground. KDE Plasma will take some seconds to finish starting, but probably after this line is written, log file is, you can start trying to connect using the command line VNC viewer. Okay, what remains to be seen if copy paste of text works. But let's first inspect and see the applications that are installed by default. We have a file manager, Dolphin, Info Center, but I don't see Help Center, nor the Task Manager. There's system settings, and also I don't see console. It's here, okay. So in favorites, we should have system settings, Dolphin, console, right click, add to favorites. And then we need a text editor, graphical user interface text editor. So that's do as su, become the user root, install additional packages. So that's pkg underscore add and Kate, the text editor from the KDE community. Let's see if we have a web browser. Not yet. We would need Firefox, or if copy paste of text works, we can just use the web browser on the host computer. But sooner or later, you end up installing a web browser in all of the virtual machines that you regularly connect to in graphical user interface mode. Okay, let's see Kate. Something happened. I wrote Kate and pressed enter. So something happened. I can see KWin in the window manager still working because I have decorations and I can move the windows, resize them. So probably I want to reconnect or just close the X11 session and recreate it. Control C, create it from scratch, connect again. Okay, so I pressed the start menu and wrote Kate, pressed enter. Not a good idea, don't do that. Okay, Control C. Open again the entire session with KDE Plasma X11, the VNC server, XVNC, TigerVNC, etc. So Kate is already pinned as a favorite. Okay. Let's try to install Firefox. This is a bug. The console window starts too small. Do as su. Okay. So I didn't know the name of the Firefox package. In some operating systems, it's just Firefox. Sometimes it's Firefox minus ESR, etc. So it seems that both Firefox and Firefox minus ESR are valid options. Okay, let's see if we have additional tools. So first of all, we want KDE Plasma to have the applications, the minimum applications available. So that would be, let's search for the name, K-Help Center. And it's there. Alt backspace works, deletes an entire word. So K-Help Center should be part of the meta package plus KDE minus Plasma. So from this package, because it's a very, very basic part of KDE Plasma. KDE Plasma has a list of binary packages and KDE Git repositories that should be part of a minimum installation of KDE Plasma, such as we want KWin, the window manager, X11 Windows Manager, and Wayland Compositor. We want the Help Center because a ton of applications have contextual help, and that will require K-Help Center. We want the file manager Dolphin. We probably want the archiver, the ARK application. So even if you don't install any viewers for audio, video, and PDFs, so if you go for such a bare-bone installation of KDE Plasma, you still should install the system monitor and a long list of applications and binary packages as part of the minimum minimorum KDE Plasma installation. So I searched KDE Wiki notes for packages, and it goes to the wiki page, community.git.org/distributions/packaging_recommendations. So there's a list of binary packages that should not be installed. They should be pre-installed. So Baloo widgets should be pre-installed, FFmpeg thumbs, Dolphin plugins, etc. All of these should be. Well, maybe not all of these are available on OpenBSD, but if they are, they should probably be installed. I see VLC, so probably Phonon VLC is already installed. And then you should test everything by running, for instance, we should run a QtQuick application and see if it uses the correct theming, the same theming as QtQuick applications. So let's actually do that. Let's see that Help Center has appeared. That's the help category and Help Center. So we have info. We have help. Okay. So the Help Center is needed because, for instance, if you press the F1 key in console, you might get to the product manual. Console main menu and help, and then console handbook will go there. Okay. Packages to avoid installing. Where is the list of packages from the KDE community that should be installed? Doesn't say anything about K-Help Center. Why not? Something's not okay. So maybe this is part of the problem. If the central wiki page that talks about the packages from the KDE community that should be part of a minimal KDE Plasma installation doesn't say anything about K-Help Center, maybe that's why somebody does not include K-Help Center in a minimal installation of KDE Plasma. I'm trying to install the system monitor application, the one that shows the list of processes in KDE Plasma. I searched for system, could not find it. I searched for monitor, could not find it. So maybe it's a too complicated application and not available yet on OpenBSD. Let's see a random KDE application that uses QML, not Qt widgets, and then that should be it. Well, we already have gone through QML application system settings, has many pages in written in QML. And they all look okay. The theming seems to be okay. Okay, but let's also install Elisa, which is a audio player from the KDE community that uses the QML toolkit. I wrote again text. So when I started the start menu, I started automatically typing some words, EL, and then I triggered the bug again. Really hard to stop writing text after I open the start menu. So multimedia and Elisa. Okay, and if there's a settings page, let's see that. So it looks correct. So at least theming for QML and Kirigami application seems to be okay. And icon themes are okay, and Qt widgets themes. Okay, just one more check. Let's make sure that copy paste of text works. And pin Kate add to favorites. Favorites, Kate, it was added to favorites. The second I have installed Kate, it appeared in the favorites, but then it just disappeared. Scrolling the mouse works. Okay, so I copied from the host machine towards the virtual machine, so from the VNC client towards the VNC server, and that worked. And I also managed to copy from the virtual machine towards the host machine, so from the VNC server towards the VNC client. This is what I'm looking for when I connect to a virtual machine or to a remote machine. I want, in graphical user interface mode, I want to use the protocol, remote desktop protocol from Microsoft, RDP. Or if that doesn't work, doesn't exist, as in this case, in OpenBSD, the XRDP server probably is not ported yet. I'm going to go for a VNC server. And the best VNC server that I know that's open source is TigerVNC. It's packaged on OpenBSD, works correctly as a server. And I want the graphical user interface to be as snappy as possible, which it is. And I want to be able to, if I resize the VNC client, to have the resolution of KDE Plasma change, because I don't want any stretching, any resizing to happen. I want perfect pixels to be visible inside the virtual machine. And then I want copy paste of text to work. If copy paste of text works, and if I can resize the virtual machine as I want, then I don't really need to have a web browser inside the virtual machine. I have installed it, it's here, but I just don't care to start it, because the web browser on my host machine is the one that I always use, has my bookmarks, has my passwords filled in, etc., etc. So it's way more advantageous for me to use the web browser on the host machine often than to port my configuration in virtual machines and allocate larger amounts of random access memory to virtual machines such that web browsers run correctly. And then maybe Firefox is not enough and I need to also install Chromium or a second web browser, etc. So this will get out of hand extremely fast. So this is it. This is how to install OpenBSD 7.8, the latest version of the operating system, in a virtual machine. QEMU KVM, and then I have installed KDE Plasma 6, and I'm connecting to the virtual machine, both using SSH but also using the VNC protocol. Thank you.